Welcome everyone to our discussion of the answers for the homework for Chapter 3. So we're going to jump in here with these inventory problems. We're going to talk about discounts for paying on time or early for problem number 2. So when I bought the inventory, and again the question is laid out where they just ask you how much you're supposed to pay and so forth, but I'm going to show you also the journal entry just so we keep reinforcing that concept in our minds. You don't have to change it if you have the right numbers and such, but that this is how we think about everything in accounting. So on May 1st, when we bought it, we debit inventory and credit accounts payable. If we pay for it on the 25th of May, we would pay the whole amount because we don't get to take the discount because it wasn't within the 10 days. Okay? So we're going to debit accounts payable 100 and credit cash 100. If we paid for it on May 10th, all right, we're going to debit accounts payable for 100 just like we did if we had paid it later. But we're going to credit cash for only 98 because we're going to take a 2% discount because we're within the 10 days. And the credit of $2 is a reduction in inventory. So at this point, our inventory is actually 98. See, a $100 increase and a $2 decrease. So 98, which is exactly what we paid for it. And that was the concept of recording at cost. The third one, I'm just going to say, whatever you put in is correct. There are some places where you would take the discount only on the part you paid on time. Some companies would say the only way you get to take the discount is if you pay it in full by the discount. Paying partial doesn't get you any discount, so they would end up they would pay the whole $100. So we're not going to worry about that too much. Whatever you put will be correct for the third situation. All right, for problem 4, we're looking at lower of cost or market. So we built this information was given to us, most of it, okay? We have 3 kinds of inventory. We have costs per individual unit of inventory. We have what the new sales price is. Okay, not the original when we first thought we were going to sell this, but based on our new estimate, maybe at a bargain place or something like that. That sales price is going to be these numbers, and the cost to sell would be the cost of shipping or repackaging or something like that to get it to sell at this discount place. So our net realizable value, which is the value we need to use to look at lower of cost or market, is the sales price less the cost to sell, So 210, 195, and 90. Now that was not given to you. You had to calculate that. So then we compare that to the cost. Compare the net realizable value to the cost. We take the lower of the two, and that goes in this column. So here it was the 210 net realizable value. Here is the $150 cost. Here is the net realizable value. So where we choose the net realizable value, we take a difference between that net realizable value or that market value and the cost. So we notice that that's $20 below the cost. This is $10 below the cost. This, of course, is the same as the cost, so there's no loss. Okay? This is how much we lost per unit. We multiply it by the number we have in inventory, and we get our total loss. Add them together, we get $32.50. You could make 2 journal entries, one for $1,600, one for $1,650, up to you. Not a big deal, but we're going to debit cost of goods sold, and we're going to credit inventory for this total, or you're going to do it in 2 pieces, but the result will be the same. All right, For problem 6, I went ahead and put up our accounting equation with the accounts we need: inventory, accounts payable, sales, cost of goods sold, cash. We're going to make some assumptions, like when we make sales, they're all on cash. Okay, so we're going to purchase 20 suits. Let's get debit inventory, credit accounts payable. Sold those 20 suits. We're going to credit sales, debit cash, $2,400, credit inventory, debit cost of goods sold for 20 suits at $40. Then we bought some more. We debit $1,600 inventory, we credit accounts payable. We sold suits for $38 for $130 each. We raised our price from $120 to $130. So we credit sales and debit cash. We credit inventory, which is 38 times $40, and we debit cost of goods sold, 38 times $40. We bought some more, 20 more. 20 times 40 is 800. Credit accounts payable, debit inventory. We sell 15 of those. We credit sales, $19.50 for $30 times 15 times 130, and debit cash. We then do the credit inventory for 15 times 40 and debit cost of goods sold. So at that point, we have $280 in inventory. We have 7 suits at $40. That's what it means. Now, why didn't we have to make an assumption like LIFO, FIFO, or weighted average? Because all the suits cost exactly the same. So it wouldn't have mattered whether we use LIFO, FIFO, or weighted average in this case. All right? But we take a physical count, and we only got 4. 3 of them are damaged. So we're going to credit inventory for 40 times 3, right? Because they cost us $40. They're gone now. So we subtract them or reduce inventory, credit inventory, and we debit, just 3. Cost of goods sold, 120. So now we're going to have 4 suits at $40, 160 instead of the 7. Problems 7, 8, and 9 are really the same data, and we just do it 3 times. We do it with FIFO, we do it with LIFO, and we do it with weighted average. Okay? Here is our transactions as given. Okay, I gave you the sales price, they gave you the cost. All right, so we have a beginning of 700, 20 jackets, each costing $35. We don't have the beginning of any of our other T accounts, and we can live with that for now because we're focused on inventory. But we have to have it in our the inventory T account or it won't work correctly. We purchase, all right, debit inventory, credit accounts payable, okay, debit 365 inventory, credit accounts payable. That's the same for no matter what our assumption is. All right. Same with the later purchase of 8 at 37 for $296. Okay, debit and credit. Either way. The thing that's different is the sales, right? So how did we calculate? Okay, here's our sales. The sales price is the same. For all of our sales, we sold 15 at $60, 14 at $60, and 10 at $60. So our sales and cash, we make that assumption. You could have put it in accounts receivable and everything would be hunky-dory as well. All right? So the first one, when we sell at FIFO, which one are we selling? We're selling the oldest ones first. So they're 15 at $35. You can see the formula up here in the formula bar. That's a credit and a debit to cost of goods sold. Then when we make the second sale, okay, obviously we can't sell all of them from the original amount, right? From the 20 we already have. So what we do is we do 5 from the $35 ones, and 9 at the $36 ones. $4.99 credit inventory, debit cost, goods sold. All right. We now have we sold 9 of these, so we have 3 left. So when we go to sell more on the 28th, 10, we sell 3 of the 36, right? We leave off, come back here to the 36, sell the other 3 that we already hadn't sold before, and we sell the other 7 from the 36.50. Moving from the back to the front, you might say, or from the old to the new. Sales is $23.50. The 3 cost of goods sold add up to that number, and there we have our gross profit. Our ending inventory is $405.50. That's adding up the increases and subtracting the decreases. Now, if we think about this, okay, what do we have left? Okay, we have 11 units. 3 at $36.50 plus 8, that's what we have left at $37. 4 or 5, we checked ourselves, and it's right. Okay? Problem 8, LIFO. Everything is the same except when we come to the sales and recording the sale. So this time when we make this sale right here, we're not selling the oldest ones, we're selling the newest ones. So we just go back to this date here. So we have 10 at $36.50, and then the other 5 comes from the 36. So we have no more $36.50 ones. All right. So when we go to the second sale, which happens right away, we didn't make any more purchases. So we're still, there's no newer items. So we go to the newest items at that point, and there's 7 at 36, and then we're going all the way back to the original balance, 7 at 35. So 7 from each, as they're called in LIFO, layers. Now, when we make this sale, this is why it's so important that you watch the dates. The newest ones are the ones that were just bought 22nd. These were not the newest when we sold these back here on the 10th and 17th because it hadn't happened yet. But now they are. We sold 10. So we sold these 8 for $37. And then we go all the way back to the jackets that we started with at $35 to sell 2 of those. So when we get to the end of the year, end of this month I should say, we have 11, and they're all the 35, right? They're all from this one. All of these got sold, all of these got sold, all of these got sold. And that equals 385, which is exactly what it says in our T account when we added up the increases and subtracted the decreases. Cost of goods sold added up, put it over here in our little calculation, get our gross profit of $932, $1408. And 932 is 1408 cost of goods sold, gross profit, 932. All right. The hardest one is probably your weighted average, okay? Everything is the same, okay? But what happens is we have this original balance. We purchased these 2. Those are debits to inventory, credits to accounts payable, just like they were. And I didn't put the other purchase in yet, okay? So at this point, we make a sale. We stop and we see, okay, without the sale, that the balance in the inventory T account is $1497. So what we want to do is equal $1497 divided by how many units? Well, we started with 20, we bought 12, and we bought 10. So 20 plus 12 plus 10 is 42. And so we divide the $14.97 we had by 42. And then multiply that by 15. Okay, and that's your credit inventory, debit cost, goods sold. Now, if you did rounded, that's fine. I'm going to leave the decimals all there for right now. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing. That once we've calculated that, we're going to divide that by the 42 again and multiply by the 14 because there's been no new purchases, so nothing to change our average. So we can use exactly the same calculation again. Now we put in our last purchase. Okay. Now, then we're going to sell again. And we have to calculate the average. So what we have to do is, we now know that the balance in inventory is 759.3571, and you can round if you want. And I'm going to divide that by how many I have. Whoops. So I'm going to go over here and count up what I have. So I had 42, right? And I sold 29. That is 13. And then I purchased 8 more. That's 21. And so I get an average cost, or weighted average, of $36.15. And then I just need to multiply that by how many I am selling, which is 10. All right, that's the credit and the debit. Okay? And I have left 11 times 36, 1/6 or so. And you can see that that matches what we got when we added up the debits and subtracted the credits. All right, here's your sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit. Again, you could have rounded at any point in those, but that's that. I left all the decimals so you can compare. That's how you complete these problems. Now you can do this with kind of with the different different layout. If you got the right answers, if you got the right journal entries, that sort of thing, the right numbers all along, then you're good. But if not, you need to make the corrections however you set it up. I just prefer to keep it all based on the T accounts that we're learning.